The Born to Win podcast highlights individuals excelling at high levels in their purpose and calling. This podcast is for anyone looking to get ahead in life and willing to take action and reach their full potential. Using Champ's male mentoring model of the 3 E's, education, empowerment, and exposure, it means you too are born to win.
I'm born to win. Live. The Chaps from Chicago be screaming all that. You're now tuned in to the...
Hey everybody, welcome to another Born to Win podcast. That's right, I'm your host Vondale Singleton, and you know what it is, you're born to win in every situation in life, and we back again. I know it's been a while. We had Tinker Hatfield, the Nike Vice President, who's been a big supporter of Champs, come on and bless us with his ideals on mentorship and how he reached levels of success. And he didn't do it alone. And that's what I discovered, is that nothing in this life that we achieve alone. And I am super proud to announce our very special guest. Welcome to the Born to Win podcast, Brother Freddie Golden Jr. Welcome.
What's going on? I appreciate it. Glad to be here. Sure.
Hey, man, how you feeling?
I'm feeling great. It's a good day. I'm glad to be on this podcast. I appreciate you for having me on. Yeah, I'm ready to get into it.
Hey, let's get into it. So I want to start off with the origin, and that's the family story. So tell us a little bit about who Freddie is. Where did Freddie come from, and a little background on just you and your family.
Yeah, so my name is Freddie. I was born and raised on the west side of Chicago. Tough environment, rough environment since I was young. Going from seeing real strange things, blood splatter on walls as I'm walking home from school at a young age. Just gunshots, gun violence all around me. It felt like that's all that I saw. And sometimes just growing up in that environment, it was really rough for me. And then I lived with my parents, a single mom. My mother, one of the strongest people that I know, just helped raise me to be the person that I am today. And I grew up with my other 3 siblings, my little brother Manny, my 2 older sisters, Hannah and Nala, and they just helped me to be the person I am today. Like you said, it takes other people around you to support you to get to where you are today. So I had that village around me, but it definitely was hard times growing up on the west side of Chicago, trying to become a black man, a successful black man, a positive figure in my neighborhood, as I'm still trying to become. So it was tough, but I'm getting through it.
So tell me a little bit about how you were able to overcome, because it sounds like you overcame some major barriers and obstacles to reach the levels of success that you have today. And oftentimes people may not understand that it's a certain mentality that comes from a Chicagoan that have survived.
Sure.
So you got to tell us, what were some of the secrets, the tips that you got from your family along the way, from other mentors? What were they suggesting to you, and how did you use that to help you reach the levels of success you are and have now?
For sure. So some of the tips that I've received, or just some of the things that I've learned growing up on the west side of Chicago in the environment that I was born in, was just to stay positive in every situation. Always have gratitude that you're here, you're alive today. Because some people didn't make it to see today. Some people don't know what they're eating tonight. Some people don't know what they're eating tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? So always have gratitude. I feel like that's the first number one thing. Always have gratitude and give thanks to God every day that you're alive and well. The second thing, life is about choices. Life is always about choices. You can, even though I lived in that rough environment where the streets was a prominent factor in my life, it was all around me. Violence was all around me. I feel like it's always a choice that I had to make, whether it was education or the streets. I know that the streets wasn't going to lead me to anything but death or jail. Yeah. I knew that's all that the streets had for me. And I saw that in other people that were growing up in the community around me. So I just knew that life was about choices, and I had to make the right choice when it came to growing up in that environment. And it's easy to fall into the streets, but sometimes life is about making that hard choice so that you can get to the future that you really want to get to. So I learned that it's all about positivity and gratitude, and it's all about making the right choice when that time comes, for sure.
It's powerful because, you're sitting here and you're blessed. You have a testimony And I want to learn more about your family. What was it about your mom's strength that gave you hope and that gave you a sense of knowing that because of her, I am. And I know that I have an opportunity to extend my family's legacy through the decisions and choices that I'm making not to be a part of the streets. Talk a little bit about your family.
Indeed. So, yeah, my mom, growing up, single mother, like I said, a single mother of 4. So everything that I saw her go through day in and day out, it was, like I said, she's one of the strongest people that I know. It's not a lot of people that I know can handle that much stress, handle that much, and it didn't even affect her. To us, it looked like she was just doing it regularly. But I understand now, it took a lot of dedication, it took a lot of time, it took a lot of effort to raise a family like virtually alone. And she just did that. She's so strong, so brave, so powerful to me. I know that if she can do it, if she can have the courage to stand up in a world where everything doesn't look good all the time, I know I can do the same thing. And that really helped empower me going day by day, just every day. I know if she can do it, that I can do it as well. She's a really prominent figure in my life.
You know, that's powerful. And maybe you're watching or listening, and you may say, well, I don't have a stable family. I don't have a mother or father in my corner. This is what I want to encourage you. I want you to find a mentor. I want you to look for opportunities to network with others. Indeed. And try to model after what you want to become. And, you know, I think it goes a lot to say this about Freddie. I had the opportunity to meet Freddie last year. We went to London. He was part of the My Brother's Keeper Chicago through the Obama Foundation. And shout out MBK Chicago.
Shout out MBK.
What an opportunity we had together. And I want to just dive into this a little bit. And we're going to get into the book. We're going to get into you excelling in your academics in North Lawndale. But I do want to pause and give people perspective. From your point of view, how was it traveling to London, England, internationally to the UK? What was that like?
It was crazy. Coming from the west side of Chicago, like I said, going to London, just seeing people operate day to day on the other side of the world, it was, when I first got there, I was amazed. It was crazy. Just going to have that experience, just to have that exposure, especially doing the things that we were doing, being able to go to Ravensbourne University and collaborate creatively with other students that went to Ravensbourne and collaborate on such an impactful project, combining Chicago and London together. It was just an amazing experience. To get that exposure, I feel like every young kid across Chicago should have that exposure. And even it wasn't even just good for Chicago kids. As we went over to London and we talked to some kids from London, all they knew about Chicago was old block and violence and some of the things that highlight our community at times. But to show that we were doing different things, because they don't know Chicago for success and for education. Absolutely. I feel like it was good for them to see that people in Chicago are doing good things too. Especially you're a great mentor to a lot of young Chicago men and women everywhere, even with the CMS program. And for them to see you, I feel like it was just a great experience for them to see that you can do it too.
Yeah, no matter where you're from. Remember, we were in Brixton in the gym, and I stopped everybody, and I said, I don't know what you heard about Chicago, but it's more than just O-Block, savages, gangs, guns, and violence.
Yeah, I remember that.
You know, and I think it was a moment that overtook me because I saw you, I saw Trey, I saw Samaje, and I saw you guys having this experience. Like, wow, I'm in another country. And the thing that I love the most is I think it gave the folks at Ravensbourne as well as the London group a different perspective on Chicago inner city kids through you. And I think they went away with like, wow, these guys are not only cool, but they smart, they friendly, they're positive, and I want to be around that type of energy. Now, I want to transition into your academics because you're very unique in what you've accomplished, and I don't think we want to overshadow or overlook the discipline and the hard work that you put in to get to where you are. And we're going to talk about the $1 Million Dream, the new book that's out. But talk to me about the mindset that you had to accomplish what you accomplished with your academics, because I think there are some listeners and people that may be watching wanting to know, who is this guy that I'm listening to and watching?
Yeah. Talk
a little bit about what you accomplished.
So in my high school, in my senior year, I was able to achieve $1.6 million in academic scholarships.
Wow. Did y'all hear him? Say that one more time.
I was able to achieve $1.6 million.
$1.6 million. Are y'all watching this and listening to this? Talk to us.
Yeah, so I was able to receive that scholarship money for college to get into the college that I wanted to go to. And now I'm attending Morehouse College. I'm going into my sophomore year, 19 years old, and I'm going to Morehouse College for free. And I feel like that's a reality that every student across the globe should have. They should be able to experience free college, free education. But it didn't come from me just sitting back and just thinking everything was going to be that. I really had to work hard for it. And that's actually the first chapter in my book, The $1 Million Dream. It's called Mentality. It's called having that. It's about having that mentality, having that mindset to get to where you are, especially coming from the west side of Chicago. I feel like my mentality had to be different. I could say in my 8th grade year, I decided to have the right mentality, have that mentality that I was going to get into college and I was going to get into college free. I knew that college was expensive. I knew what I had to do wasn't going to be easy, but that took that mindset, that mentality to put in that work and to get the grades that I got, to get the SAT score that I got, to get just the things that led up to that scholarship award. So, yeah, it's all about the mentality. I feel like that's definitely the first step in the baseline.
Wow.
When it comes to
mentality, having the right mindset.
Exactly.
So when did you get this mindset? Have you always been an excellent student since childhood, or did something happen to make you say, you know what, I got to lock in?
Yeah.
Talk to us.
So, growing up, like I said, it was a hard environment that I was placed in. You know, seeing violence on the news, seeing the people that I was surrounded with. And I even had a couple of friends. Well, I had a friend in my 8th grade year that I was really cool with. He was on my basketball team. His name is Devontae Jackson. And when I went into high school, he actually passed away. Well, he got shot. He was a victim to Chicago violence. And that really impacted me. It really affected me in a way that not only do I want to be able to become a positive role model for people that don't have a positive role model in their life, because some people, what happens in Chicago is some youth, they just don't understand that there are other ways to go other than the streets and other than death, under the jail. Like, people don't understand that they have that other outlet. And I feel like I understood that because of my mom, because I had other role models in my life, like just good teachers and good coaches. I understood that education was an option for me. So once I understood that, there's no way that I can go back to that other route, because I knew that other people needed that positive role model in their life. Other people needed that, because everybody doesn't know that that's an option.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So education was my path in order to do that. Education was my path in order to get to this next stage in my life where I'm going to college, where I'm really understanding what life is and how I can impact my community in that way. So I knew that that's something that I had to go through with.
So you had to face and live through trauma. It's not normal for young people to have to bury their friends, or a parent to have to bury their son, and yet we hear time and time again about young people getting shot and killed in Chicago. And what was it like for you? Again, we're talking about mindset. That's your foundation, right? What type of mindset did you have to endure that type of pain and live through that experience? Did it motivate you? Did it discourage you? Did it scare you? What did it do when this experience happened to you?
I will honestly say a little bit of everything that you said.
A little bit of everything.
I mean, it scared me at first, honestly. This environment where it felt like it was no escape. It felt like it was no hope for you. It felt like there was no hope for me. So I was scared. I was scared at a point in time. I felt like I couldn't go anywhere. I had to just be numb to it. And I feel like that's a reality for a lot of people in Chicago. You get numb to the situations, which is abnormal, but you accept it as normal. You normalize it. But as I began to grow, I developed a mental toughness in order to overcome this. I decided that I wasn't going to allow my circumstances to determine my story. I wasn't going to allow the people or the things that I grew up around to determine who I was. I wanted to make it out of those circumstances so I could tell other people that you can too. I could tell other people that education was possible. It is possible. And I just knew that I had to develop that mental toughness in order to do that. So I put my foot down. I said, I'm not going to succumb to the streets. Good. I'm not going to allow my circumstance to define my story. I wanted to define the narrative of what a black man in Chicago was supposed to be. I wanted to define who I was and just take that next step in my life. So developing mental toughness was a big thing for me, and I feel like it really helped me to reach that next stage of my life and make that decision.
Wow, we're talking about the $1 million dream. This is the author, Freddie Golden Jr., and I want to dive into the book. You talked about the mindset as a foundational key. But out of the book, what are some of your favorite quotes? What's your favorite chapter from this book? And tell us why. Yeah,
so like I said, the first chapter is mentality, which is a really important chapter for me because it goes into, like we was just talking about, that mental toughness. One of my favorite quotes, I just said, I didn't allow my circumstances to define my story. And I feel like everybody can do the same. You shouldn't let your circumstances define your story. You could be who you want to be as long as you have that mental toughness to get over that. Also, I go into what applying to scholarships looks like, what applying to colleges look like. And I say, I have another favorite chapter. It's called Putting in the Work. Because it's going to be work. It's going to be work. But you have to understand, hard work is subjective to how you choose to view your situation. Okay. You know what I'm saying? If you build a habit now and you really work and develop that habit, you embody what it means to be the person that you want to be. I feel like you make habits for yourself, and now you're just doing that thing not because it's because you want to what you want to achieve, but it's because of who you are. So say, for example, I want to get in shape, and that's a goal that I have for myself. I'm not going to make that goal for myself and just try to keep reaching that goal, because you can get unmotivated with certain things. Like you're chasing results so you can get unmotivated. But if you make that who you are a person that goes to the gym every day. You are a person that wakes up and develops yourself every day. You go 1% more every day. That's who you are. That's not something you're trying to achieve. That's who you are. And that's something that I unpack in my Putting in the Work chapter. So that's one of my favorite chapters, just teaching about how to build a habit and how that translates into scholarships. I feel like that's really important. It was something that really helped me in my process.
So are you available to come speak to a school,
yes,
do a seminar, lead a workshop around this book? How can folks get a hold of you, and how can we support the work that you have through the $1 Million Dream? Is there a place that we can go and make purchases for the book? Because I want to say this live, in full support, I want to buy 30 copies for the Champs program of this book, because I believe in Freddie. I've watched him up close, and he is who he say he is, and that's very rare. And I know his mom, his family is extremely proud of him, and he's an example to our community. And he's a leader in Chicago. So why not support the book? But you got to tell us how we can get a hold of a book. How do we get a hold of you?
I appreciate it. So if you go to FreddieGoldenJr.com, that is the website, and it has a link that will take you directly to where you can order the book. Also, it is live now on Amazon, The $1 Million Dream. That's what the book is called. I'm the author, Freddie Golden Jr. If you search that in on Amazon, you will land right on the book. But FreddieGoldenJr.com, you can find that link. You can find a description of the book. You can find about me, a little about the author. And I encourage you to give feedback. I'm a first-time author, and I am working through this process of getting this first book out. And I'm extremely excited to have this project come out. I'm also looking for mentors, anybody that is an author already. I'm definitely looking for that mentorship and just the help that I need. It's my first book. I'm still getting into this process, but I definitely appreciate the support that I've had so far. I appreciate you for helping me to get this platform and helping me to just talk about my story and where I came from. And yeah, if you go to FreddieGoldenJr.com, I have my book available there, and it's out now. So I appreciate you.
Hey, look, y'all, if you're watching this, and I have a bunch of friends who have major platforms, and y'all listening and watching me right now, I need for y'all to book him, get him on your platforms. Hey, Wallow, 267 $1 million worth of game, you hear me? E.T., Dr. Eric Thomas, you hear me? Let's get him on. Let's support this young brother. Again, he's hailing from the west side of Chicago. And you know, if he's sitting here and telling you he's at Morehouse College, you know he has a story. $1.6 million in scholarships. Look, y'all, we have to uplift young brothers like him and support the work that he's doing, not just through talk, but let's go out and buy this book. Let's sell it out. Any last words you want to share with anybody?
Yeah, I just want to, my main goal, my main objective through the book, through some of the courses I'll be teaching, which I can be booked through my website as well. I would say to youth across the world, across tough environments, across tough communities like the ones that I came from, I would say that reaching education is important. Reaching education is possible. And you can do that through scholarships. You can do that through college. And it's really necessary that you get the education that you need to bring up your community. You don't have to fall into the traps that the community lays for you. There's a lot of traps out there. There's a lot of violence that you can succumb to, and it's easy to fall into that. But it's going to be hard at first, but the right thing and the right path that you should be taking is education, and it's definitely possible. So I'm looking forward to seeing what y'all can do with that. I'm looking forward to just the next wave of educated young people in the world. And I appreciate you for having me on again.
And give us the website again. How do we locate you, and how do we purchase the book?
For sure. FreddieGoldenJr.com, FREDDIE, GoldenJr.com is where you can find a book. You can find a link directly to the book. And then it's called The $1 Million Dream. You can search it up on Amazon. It's available now. I appreciate you for having me on. I appreciate y'all for listening.
All right. We'll be back with another episode of the Born to Win podcast.
For sure.
Peace.
The Born to Win podcast highlights individuals excelling at high levels in their purpose and calling. This podcast is for anyone looking to get ahead in life and willing to take action and reach their full potential. Using Champ's male mentoring model of the 3 E's, education, empowerment, and exposure, it means you too are born to win.
I'm born to win. Live. The Jets from Chicago be screaming all that. You're now tuned in to the Born to Win podcast.